Hi, welcome to Plants and Produce. I'm Andy, and don't forget to like and subscribe. So today is November the 13th and it's a happy birthday to me. I'm officially the oldest child in the family again for the next 3 weeks until my elder brother turns his birthday. So just letting you know, I am the more experienced and obviously the handsome, intelligent one. So what I want to talk about today is just potting up some bulbs and just seeing where we're at on the greenhouse. So these over here we ended up putting in the freezer, in the fridge for a few days, week, 10 days, and then I've had them in the incubation chamber for a little bit longer to see if we can't force some stuff to go on a bit further. So most of what's in here is tulips and gladioli and stuff like that. So we're trying to get so we have flowers for Christmas growing in the greenhouse. So we're trying to fool it to think, hey, it's now spring, so I can start growing. So I'll just show you where we're at. So just going to use these green pots like this, but because I want a bit more drainage in these and I don't want them to sit in some water in the bottom, what we'll do is we'll put some gravel in the bottom, and then as we normally do, this mix I've made up here is just a little bit more gravelly, a little bit more loose, so we just make sure that it's got a bit more drainage in it. So most of these on here, when you take them out, and these are spring flowering bulbs, as you can see we've already achieved a pretty good root in the bottom there. So what we'll do is we'll gently tease it into the bottom, and what we'll do with these, we'll probably put two or three of these ones in here, probably two. We'll just tease them into the bottom and make sure they're okay. And then what we'll do is we'll take some tulip bulbs, which if you go down, it's way too late to plant outside now, but you could certainly go plant them inside. And then we'll take a couple of normal tulip bulbs and just stick down the side. And then we just cover them up and firm them down, and then I'll water them in, and then that way the first two should come up and start flowering, and then by the time they finish flowering, the second two should come up and start flowering. So I'll go along and I'll pot those ones up. And then the other thing that we'll do is, again, a little bit more drainage than we usually have. And then this one here is crocus. When they come in a packet, they come with all this wood chip to stop them getting damp. So you just have to search them out. And as you can see, these are just starting to actually come out a little bit. So we'll plant. And because these are just they're just spring flowers, you can plant quite a few in some of these bulbs. So in here I would probably put up to 10 or 12 in this one here, and then cover it up and then just put it somewhere not hot, but somewhere where it's just a little bit warmer than the outside temperature, and then it will fool it then it's spring. And the other bulb that after we finish this video I'm going to carry on and I'm going to pot up is obviously the most superior of the bulbs, because it's the alums or the alliums, but it's the alum, so it's obviously more superior than all the rest of the bulbs. As you can see, it's got way more flowers, and this one will certainly grow better than most other stuff. And again, there's 5 bulbs in here and they're Persian blue, and I will pot those up the same deal, same way as I have. I haven't shocked these in the fridge to think it's winter and then going into spring, but we're just going to pot these up now, and then we're going to give them some extra warmth and just trick them into thinking that it's springtime and they should start flowering. Okay, that's the bulbs done. That's one more. Now we'll move on to the tomatoes that we planted the other day. So as you remember on the last video, we planted up a lot of different tomatoes and just to see where we could get with them. Well, what happened is every single one of them germinated and grew. So I've already potted them on, but after potting them on, what we decided to do is we would put one set of them over under the grow lights, and then just one set of them over against the side window of the greenhouse to see how much we could do. So as you can see right now, the best ones that have come out are the Kellogg's breakfasts. I mean, they've really absolutely took off. And when you compare it to the other Kellogg's breakfasts that are in here, I mean, there's really no comparison on how big this one is to this one, and particularly on some of the other Kellogg's breakfasts like this. I mean, there's really no comparison between the two. Same deal as on the pink ox heart. The ones that are by the window or just against the side are half the size nearly of the ones that are against the rest of them. And the same on the black cherry. I mean, there's really no comparison to under a grow light. So what that tells me is that I'm not getting enough sunlight during the winter in here. So what we've done, we've added some more grow lights over some of the plants to see if we can't get them going. The only difference is the new sets of basil seem to be pretty comparable one way or the other between whether they have additional light or whether they don't. And the same with the parsley. There's really not much difference between both of them whether they have a grow light or whether they don't. So that's how that's all going. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with all these tomatoes because they're certainly not all going to fit in here. I don't have the space in here, so we're going to have to do something different with these, or I'm going to have to refigure the whole greenhouse to see how we can fit a lot of these in here, because there's certainly plenty of tomato plants and they're growing extremely well right now. So as we're going to walk around the greenhouse, we'll just show you how everything's going in here. The herbs, they're going really well. The oregano, the parsley, they're starting to go really well. The petunias in this one, they're starting to die off a little bit because they're really close. Petunias back here still going really strong. We do have some carrots growing, which they tell you can't grow in a pot, and they're too small yet. But yeah, so I mean they're growing okay. They make really tender little carrots to eat. But they need a bit longer than that at the moment. Rest of the herbs, and then the furthest forward tomatoes are in this corner here, and at the moment we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 or 7 bunches on this one here. I'm going to have to pull this further down and have it grow further down because it's starting to just burn itself a little bit on the top. The beefsteak ones in the corner are going extremely well. The dahlias are all flowering. They're starting to flower right now. Don't ask me why every single one of them is yellow, because it was a mixed seeds, so I don't know why they were all yellow. The lettuces, we're starting to pick small lettuces out of these now, so they're growing extremely well. The new petunias, which are very pastel colour right now, so we'll see if they brighten up anything. Tomatoes in the corner, which are the second set from those ones over there. They've got some smaller tomatoes on them right now. We've stripped the leaves back all the way down to there. They're up here, and then we'll train these to go lower across the top of the greenhouse. As we go backwards, the petunias that I pulled in from outside before it got cold, they're still flowering phenomenally. The couple of things that we're not quite sure whether we're going to leave or not, we've got 3 or 4 zucchini plants in here, and they've got some little zucchinis on them, and they're just starting to flower, but they take up way too much space and they need way too much sunlight. So we may ditch these. We're not sure on these ones yet. Obviously more smaller tomatoes, we're just starting to bud up or just starting to grow fruits all the way through here. Some bigger ones, some beefsteak and some bigger ones in the corner over here. The peppers are starting to go really well. These will be some bell peppers and some banana peppers that we're going to grow. The complete failure of the cucumbers. I've really struggled to grow cucumbers in here. It gets too dry, too hot, too dry, too hot. So I think we're going to abandon the cucumbers. I don't like cucumbers anyway, so it's not that big a deal. And then other than that, we have a few sunflowers growing down here. You might have to cut that bit out. My daughter just tripped on there, so you know, it wasn't me that fell over, she's the one that tripped on the heater. We've got a few sunflowers growing down here, and we have some peas that are now going off really strong over there, and we still have some cabbages left in here and some cabbages outside. So other than that, that's about it for now. We'll do an update in a few weeks' time when the tomatoes start getting red, and we'll start picking them. I still have about half a box of green to red ones that are maturing indoors right now, so hopefully these will start going red before we run out of the tomatoes from the garden indoors. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll try and post one of these probably every 3 to 4 weeks, maybe once a month, just to see how everything's going and to show you.